We have something we manage. We have some face wash, so we can manage this. Thank you for this so much. I mean, if you want to take the shower now, we can also do it. Okay. Prasad, and then from the beginning, because you start on the
It seems that's
Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshama.
Krishna, 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 Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Pahimam.
Krishna, 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 Krishna,
Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshama.
Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshama.
Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam.
Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we're reading from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The chapter is entitled The Kidnapping of Subhadra, and we're on page 787. My dear Lord, it is known to us that you are so kind and liberal that when a person leaves everything just to engage in Krishna consciousness, you sometimes give yourself in exchange for that unalloyed service. You have appeared in the outer dynasty to fulfill your mission of reclaiming all conditioned souls rotting in the sinful activities of material existence. And this appearance is always famous all over the world. My dear Lord, you are the ocean of unlimited mercy, love, and affection. Your transcendental form is full of bliss, knowledge, and eternity. You can attract everyone's heart by your beautiful form as Shyamasundar Krishna. Your knowledge is unlimited, and to teach all people how to execute devotional service, you have sent your incarnation, Narayan, who is engaged in severe austerities and penances at Badrik Ashram. Kindly therefore accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. My dear Lord, I beg to request you and your companions, the great sages and brahmanas, to remain at my place for at least a few days, so that this family of the famous King Nimi may be sanctified by the dust of your lotus feet. Lord Krishna could not refuse the request of his devotee, and thus he remained there for a few days with the sages to sanctify the city of Mithila and all its citizens. Meanwhile, the Brahman Shrutadev, simultaneously receiving Lord Krishna and his associates at his home, was transcendently overwhelmed with joy. After offering his guests nice sitting places, the Brahman began to dance, waving around his wrap. Shrutadev, being not at all rich, offered his only mattresses, wooden planks, straw carpets, and so on to his distinguished guests, Lord Krishna and the sages, but he welcomed them to the best of his ability. He spoke very highly of the Lord and the sages, and he and his wife washed the feet of each one of them. After this, he took the water and sprinkled it over all the members of his family. And although the Brahman appeared very poor, he was at that time most fortunate. While Shrutadev was welcoming Lord Krishna and his associates, he simply forgot himself in transcendental joy. After welcoming the Lord and his companions according to his ability, he brought fruits, incense, scented water, scented clay, tulasi leaves, kusha straw, and lotus flowers. They were not costly items and could be secured very easily, but because they were offered with devotional love, Lord Krishna and his associates accepted them gladly. The Brahman's wife cooked simple foods like rice and dal, and Lord Krishna and his followers were very much pleased to accept them because they were offered in devotional love. When Lord Krishna and his associates were fed in this way, the Brahman Shrutadev was thinking thus: I have fallen into the deep, dark well of household life, and am the most unfortunate person. How has it become possible that Lord Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his associates, the great sages, whose very presence makes a place a sanctified pilgrimage site, have agreed to come to my place? While the Brahman was thinking in this way, the guests finished their lunch and sat back very comfortably. At that time, the Brahman Shrutadev and his wife, children, and other relatives appeared there to render service to the distinguished guests. While touching the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, the Brahman began to speak.
It's amazing that not only Krishna was in two places, but the sages also. I wonder if that were the same sages, or it was the group split in two. No, it doesn't. But it also doesn't say it's not so like that. So it's like, anyway, it's like remarkable. My dear Lord, he said, you are the Supreme Person, Purushottama, transcendently situated beyond the manifested and unmanifested material creation. The activities of this material world and of the conditioned souls have nothing to do with your position. We can appreciate that not only today have you given me your audience, but you are associating with all the living entities as Paramatma since the beginning of creation. Now, this statement of the Brahmana is very instructive. It's a fact that Lord, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, in his Paramatma feature, enters the creation of this material world as Mahavishnu, Garbhodakasaya Vishnu and Kshirodakasaya Vishnu, and his very friendly attitude sits along with the conditioned soul in the body. Therefore, every living entity has the Lord with him from the very beginning, but due to his mistaken consciousness of life, the life entity cannot understand this. When his consciousness, however, is changed into Krishna consciousness, he can immediately understand how Krishna is trying to assist the conditioned souls to get out of the material entanglement. Shrutadev continued, my dear Lord, you have entered this material world as if sleeping. Conditioned soul, while sleeping, creates false or temporary worlds in his mind, becomes busy in many illusory activities, sometimes being a king, sometimes being murdered, or sometimes going to an unknown city, and all these are simply temporary affairs. Similarly, your lordship apparently also, in a sleeping condition, enters this material world to create a temporary manifestation, not for your personal necessities, but for the conditioned soul, who wants to imitate your lordship as an enjoyer. The conditioned soul's enjoyment in the material world is temporary and illusory, and yet the conditioned soul is by himself unable to create such a temporary situation for his illusory enjoyment. To fulfill his desires, although they are temporary and illusory, you enter this temporary manifestation to help him. Thus, from the beginning of the conditioned soul's entering into the material world, you are his constant companion. When therefore the conditioned soul comes in contact with a pure devotee and takes to the devotional service, beginning with the process of hearing your transcendental pastimes, glorifying your transcendental activities, worshipping your eternal form in the temple, offering praise to you, and engaging in discussions to understand your transcendental position, he gradually becomes freed from the contamination of material existence, and in his heart becomes cleansed of all material dust. You gradually become visible there. Although you are constantly with the conditioned soul,